Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. So, we came back to the city and now we need to go back to the island. Not the Salvia Island, but the Spiderweb Island. I guess in this idea there's probably no reason in calling them islands because they're all going to be islands. We needed the squid oil, and that sent us back to the city. We also need 3 pieces of meat for a side quest, and I don't think we did anything else, really. It kind of is a unique situation where you can just spend a lot of time in this game, and this was true for the previous game also, but maybe slightly lesser true in this case. But you can spend a lot of time just moving back and forth. That's how they try to waste your time. I would also say I spent a lot of time in the last recording exiting out and adjusting the frame rate until I finally settled at 59 frames per second, the European PAL frame rate, instead of 60 frames per second, to give me just a slight edge while still having the game feel like it's running at the right speed. Oh, you have the squid oil. Is that for me? Nope. You're gonna keep it, but I really need it. So he needs the squid oil to fix the cart to then give us a shortcut to go further. Excellent. Ever since we split off from the zombie caravan, we've been in short supply. I can have this fixed in a jiffy. So we give the squid oil to Poe. So it's a zombie with bat wings, which is slightly questionable. And hey, you're pretty amazing, Poe. Thank you, milady. What do you say we take this for a test drive? It could get a little dangerous, just saying. You sure Roddy won't mind? It's no problem, just remember to hold on tight. So I don't know if this is going to be like a different sequence, or if I was going to be on top and get attacked by flying creatures. Well, she handles beautifully. There definitely could have been a sequence there, and yet it just faded to black and faded back in. Wow, she handles beautifully. I couldn't have done it without you, milady. Here. We've got a shriveled thing, which looks like a zombie head. It smells. How sweet. I'll cherish it always, but what exactly is it? Shantae is like too nice. What, don't you like it? No, it's great. It's from a dead guy. Ugh. I'll be around in case you ever need a ride. See you. Alright, so this was What's Alive. Looks old, aged, and crispy. I think the dungeon in this area said they were hungry. And see, the problem here is I don't know where I am. Like, I guess there's the slight glowing light, and that's the indicator of where we are. So we can go back here and talk to Roddy Tops and her brother. You found Poe? You're alright, girl. If the wagon's fixed, you can use it, I guess. Just no peeking inside. So no real indication there, and giant pans in the background where they seemingly probably cook humans to eat. So back this way. It feels like once we get a double jump or ability to fly, that we'll be able to go maybe to the right way. Yeah, so here's the dungeon. Voice, sniff sniff, oldie moldy leftovers. Hungry, feed shriveled thing. Feed us shriveled thing. And I'm just gonna go no to everything But it doesn't seem like it's gotten me any achievement or even a funny line of dialogue. Generally, I would say games probably should just have a kind of bad joke, like definitely B or C tier joke if you say no, but something that is easily missable and nobody is going to be upset if they found out that they didn't miss it. Bring more delicious thing inside. So this is the second time in 2 games where we've ended up feeding... Oh wait, let's come over here and take this guy out first. Like, these are permanent enemies. So, or at least I think they're permanent enemies. So killing them and absorbing the dark magic, I think, is a requirement. And I don't think he'd let me go that way. Yeah, so they're not gonna have me go back that way. Ever. Which, thank goodness for that. So this feels very Castlevania-ish. And the whole place is falling apart. This game definitely does have its influences from Castlevania, Metroidvania games, but it keeps everything fairly simple too, so I would have a kind of hard time just saying, oh yeah, if you like Castlevania, you'll love this game. You'll probably like this game if you like Castlevania, but it plays differently. No secret passages opening up. So the skeletons, do they respawn now? I don't think they do. Instead we have like explosive heads. Little pygmy heads or something. Not sure what the full logic there is. And skeletons now have a bone tossing ability. The speed of the game still feels right. I feel like I'm moving smoothly. I feel like the enemies aren't moving incredibly slow. So if we run into any platforming sections at this point that feel unfair, I think that has to just be attributed to bad game design. We can just focus on the game now. There is definitely a level. Interesting. We've got a machine here that might do something. Looks like something from Uncle's workshop, but it doesn't appear to have power. So we gotta power up this machine. I don't think this world really has too much machines. Like when you look at the cart, here we have these plants, which previously the easiest way to kill these plants was with fire, and we don't have a fire magic anymore. They definitely are working from a concept of, oh, in the sequel she doesn't have her magic ability, so now how would she interact with the world? It's just easier to do this, honestly. Like, how would Shantae interact in a world like this without her magic? Would her being magicless really change too much? That's one meat chunk. But we have to also remember not to eat it. Well, unless I am supposed to hit the skull and then bounce off of it, or hit the skull and let that be a... Like, I can't shoot the skull, so I assume the skulls are there to hit me, but otherwise I don't think I can move that direction, and I'm not willing to just hurt myself for a cheap experiment. There, I got most of the rupees from that. There is a danger here of the game just becoming fairly formulaic, though. Like, because we are just going to do the same thing over and over again. In all fairness, you probably have made the same claim to Castlevania or Metroidvania, or Metroid 1. That's what I meant to say there. And that is definitely just part of where modern games have to work very hard to get the gameplay loop to be so addictive and so unrecognizable. We have like a whip lady in bikini armor that can turn into a bat. It's a pike ball whip lady. But so like a little challenge room like this is a great way of speeding things up, and maybe we will see more challenge rooms and less boss rooms or sub-bosses, which there's very little difference in my mind between a sub-boss and a challenge room, other than challenge rooms I would say typically don't guarantee that they're going anywhere. Alright, this is straight up Donkey Kong Country stuff. These guys eat you. And they're not hurting you, even though they're trying to chew you. Interesting. It's just the barrels from Donkey Kong Country. I'd say the Shantae series does also risk being overly influenced by Nintendo games. And if you are going to be influenced by games, Nintendo games aren't a bad choice. It's nice that they put the platforms right next to each other so you can just walk without having to take a slightly risky jump. But almost certainly they're going to make you take jumps. Yeah, I won't be able to get any of that. I'm not sure if getting hit by those actually hurts you. Yes, it does. That's probably good to know. Because if I was to guess, the falling ceiling mechanic here is not just aesthetics, it's probably training you as a player that things will fall in the next big boss fight. Massive amount of hearts getting dropped to make up for make up for any potential damage that you're doing to yourself. So what does this do? They're not doing the Zelda compass thing, but a map is certainly useful. I wish I could move the screen down lower, because I wonder if there is like another secret if I went down. Although maybe the red ones don't let you go down. Maybe they only let you go up. Seriously? I wasted a bunch of time there by immediately falling. I was thinking that it had just circled around and put me at the same height, and it didn't fully occur to me that I might be in the same area but higher, and I might not be able to get back up. Good news is it seems like there's only minimal respawning enemies in these maps. So when I do this, and when I do this, it automatically throws us in the directions. When I do this and that, it automatically throws us in the direction also. Alright. That would be fairly helpful to go get, but it's not worth the effort. You can still definitely feel though how I would prefer to just kind of jump in and be able to very quickly jump and attack, and that would then stun lock them and give me some invincibility frames in the middle of the attack. We clearly don't have that when we are jumping or attacking, and that could be something that would make this game a little bit easier. Not that I think that the game has to be easier by any means. I think there's a good argument to be made here that the exact opposite is probably true. Interesting. So this is just a whole maze, and let's see. It's one giant room, so if I fell, I would get shot back to where I was before. But we do have the squid. So I just don't know how to reach the squid, and I fell down the room. And she makes a jumping sound. This way and then this way. What is that? Yeah. I must just need some other ability. And they're having fun giving us a lot of things to break. And I guess that's as far as I can go for the moment. So far I haven't seen a place I couldn't come back to. So I think this is probably a challenge room again, but it also probably is something that we need. Yep. You still can't move fast enough though. Like, I'd like to be able to just do this, 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 and this, and it's totally not happening. Yeah, that's another kind of great example of a challenge room. And there's clearly something up there because there's a white dot. So now we've obtained Risky's hat, which more and more we're getting dressed up like a pirate, which I think is probably the trick here, is that at the end of the game, or at some point in the game, we are going to be misconstrued as Risky, and that's probably our plan. Alright, so the hat button is the right trigger, and that now does give us a way in which we can make it through far distance areas, which I don't know if we don't want to check this first. It's not quite a double jump, but it is enough. The hat does not seem to interact with the... That might be an achievement for breaking a bunch of these chandeliers. Or candlesticks, whatever they are. I don't know, what do you call that, actually? Yeah, we don't need to save. So, it does seem like it gives you a couple of frames height when you do this, which I think will come into play, but probably not enough frames of height to actually get anywhere that you couldn't get somewhere else. Like, I don't think it will be a required trick. I think it will just be something you can do. Right. That got me over here, so we'll check out where this would lead. This is going to lead us to higher areas or lower areas. Oh. So over here is a Heart Squid. I'm pretty much assuming that over on these are just kind of places you can land. There we go. You go this way, you go this way. You go this way, you go this way, you go down this way. Maybe you float. I don't know. It's gotta be a trick as far as how do you get into that area, but I am not sure how you do get into this area, because you don't really have any tight air controls. So almost certainly it is some other trick that you have to do later on where you can make yourself small. That's where I would assume. Let's check out what's over here. We've now activated something. I guess it was nice to hit it instead of have to go up and hit B. And I assume it's probably not wise to just do this. Yeah, that's a waste of time. There is a generator down in that area, so we either are supposed to come back to an area, or I just boned it up pretty badly. Yeah, I just don't know how you'd get down there. Seems like we might get a secondary movement mechanic on top of the hat, and we already kind of have a secondary movement mechanic in these creatures, which they are rather unique characters. This is more difficult platforming than the others because they're not timed to actually line up. I don't know why I'm sitting there waiting for that heart when I had it full health anyways. So we've got tongues that really wouldn't affect us too much. They could get rid of the stagger, and that would be helpful when I take damage. This is just another area that's complicated, to say the least, as far as how to get around. These guys are invincible. Probably not a good reason to waste your time trying to get over here. Yeah, there's apparently nothing there. Now over here is a secret path with a key, so you would have had to find that. Alright. Question now. How does one get higher? I think we have to go all the way back down, and I think we now need to go down to this lower section that we couldn't transverse before. This definitely is a different experience. I can only get like 2 shots off doing it this way. So either play it safe or get right next to him. And I'm only hitting him once, actually. My timing's kind of bad. They seem to duck the second shot. I'm gonna come down here, wait for this to happen, come over here. I'm glad they didn't repeat that and have a second plant creature. I hit the B button and it just hit it anyways to activate it. And that was not marked as a specific spot. With a white dot or anything, so I would have had to just remember that. Which that does certainly open up a question about, am I supposed to go back to the beginning of this level and look for this other object? Or is this area here supposed to be the indicator that you've gone as far as you needed to? You shouldn't go back any further. Because this definitely could be a waste of time. Just a ton of stuff I didn't know was breakable at first. Yeah, and that's the exit. Interesting. And that may have respawned everything in the dungeon. So we may now have all kinds of monsters running around again. Well, I guess this gives us a little bit of an excuse to grind. It's not like we're running super high on gold. Let's go ahead and save. Yeah, I can't help but feel like I'm not giving a lot of deep insight at the moment. And I think that part of the reason for that is going to be kind of fairly obvious, that there isn't a lot of deep insight to be said. Interesting. Yeah, we've already been here. On the other hand, at a certain point, not every game has to be hyper ambitious. Like, arguably, that might have been one of the problems with Cuphead as an actual game that's actually accessible to people, is that the visuals were highly ambitious, but had they just made a standard game that was animated in a standard format, they probably would have had more budget, assuming they could use that budget wisely, to potentially just make a standard game. And after the initial hype of Cuphead was done, it is just as forgotten a game as every other game that came out around that time. I mean, it's slightly more relevant, but people aren't coming back to even now, and, well, speedrunners are still. I just saw a brand new speedrun was listed for Cuphead, but an average player isn't still super hyped years later to play Cuphead if they haven't gotten around to it. They've moved on. People do move on. That's the right way for people to act, particularly in the video game industry, where games are constantly being released. Okay. We have this area down here. Up in that area above me is the power generator and a squid heart. So the question would be, how do I reach either one of those? See, now that's a great example of the advantage you might get, but it does kind of feel like a speedrunner tech more than anything else, that that you can use the hat to get slightly higher. Also take note that they are introducing spikes in this room, whereas previously there have not been really the concept of spikes. Let's see. Which that does open up a door, certainly. I think I know what to do now. It's not this. Don't do this. Oh, you know what I probably could do, since the game has been giving me pike balls. Seriously? That was a waste. I'm not going to be able to reach that height. So either there's another entrance down here that I missed, which maybe there is. Yes, there is. Ah! Now I see what I missed. And when you hit B, you shoot it. When you hit A, you use it. So that's activated everything. Is there a different entrance we can take, though, to go a little bit lower? Well, no, not a little bit lower, but lower. And you can fairly consistently use that trick. But then there's no trick otherwise. Yep. I would have much preferred the previous Shantae game if it had spikes on the floor that would just damage you and then potentially set you back. Oh, I see what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do this. Nope, don't get it. Go here, you go here. What did I do to get to the area on the right? This might be a good point in which they could have introduced a ladder in that section. Alright, so it must be I went here and then I went up here first, and then that sends me around and around. Okay. No, I just don't think there's a trick there. Unless it's over here somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think I have the ability to get that squid heart. So let's go back down. Activate this now. The lights are on, it's ready to activate. Smack it. And what does that do? It has your standard, you have a hat so you can be blown up. Although, we're gonna have to keep an eye on what the actual distance is we want to go. I guess they're gonna keep it fairly simple there and block things off. There's only a few things left. Come on. This one won't even attack unless you start jumping up towards it. Now these guys seem to be shadow clones of each other. Alright, well, we're about to die. Let's go ahead and use a potion, since potions we know are probably not going to be required elements. So every time I hit them with a gunshot, they have a chance of hitting me for 3 damage, which 3 damage I think actually does equate to 3 pips, which would certainly explain how I am taking massive amounts of damage. Alright, another potion. Got super monster milk, which probably, when I see these guys, I probably should take them on with monster milk, but I don't have a lot of them. And I guess that bikini pike throwing flying girl might be like the evolved form of these little vampire bats, and maybe that is the association they're trying to instill. Still no secrets under here. That didn't work well. And the game's a little slow picking up keys and items, I've also noticed. But these are really tiny nitpicks in totality of the game. It still very much plays like what you would expect from a 3DS game, and still very much plays like something that is reasonable to play if you're a little bit nostalgic or want to play something that is a more portable B/C tier game compared to... I feel like there's a passage that way, but I guess not. And they've got the spiders again. Can't do anything to kill the spiders though. Avoid the spikes. All very standard stuff. And I can toggle it if I want to give myself a moment of downward momentum. And it's kind of interesting how there are wind gusts just kind of everywhere. You have to kind of wiggle yourself into the right place to actually catch it. This probably puts us right at the boss. And each dungeon is taking, I would say, about 45 minutes to do, but then you run into a scenario of having to do some cleanup stuff. It's the big spider that we fought, Emperor Spider, Chit Chat, Queen Royale. She's moving in direct connection to my movements. I think we probably will have to just use this. Alright, let's do this. Alright, that's not gonna work. If I'm gonna hit, I gotta hit with the hair now that I have the monster milk enabled. And doing double damage is the right move. No telling how long the power-up is gonna last. It seems like I'm kind of glowing red. Seriously? Wasn't expecting that. I actually don't have to scroll down. You gotta use your hat ability. I can take a couple more hits and then I need to use a potion. And when you get hit by the fire, you then just take invincibility frames for the rest of the game. There goes my monster milk. And if you do it too early, you're in trouble. I almost died there. Although I guess it doesn't really matter as much. I just got an achievement, apparently, for doing something. I'm not sure what. It does seem like the achievements are questionable to say the least. Yeah, the timing's still kind of rough on these platforming equivalent movement here. One, two, three. Too early. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just right. Not even letting the eggs land. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess these eggs turn into spiders and then they'd be more of a hassle. Almost needed to use my last potion there. You can see she's grabbing her own, showing the damage indicator, which is a nice idea in a modern concept, or a more modern concept. And then I got another achievement for beating the boss. And it gave me 13 health.
Tinkerbats.
Next we have another Tinkerbat giving us a map. Clearly they're intentionally helping you.
Hey!
But I don't know if they ever talk. Another map. These are very simplistic, basic cutscenes. They clearly didn't have anything that they wanted to say or show there. That's one less source of evil for the Pirate Master. I better go tell Risky. Alright, so next is Tan Line map. Alright. So we should now be able to make it over here. And we should now be able to actually go back to the previous area too. But almost certainly there will be other movement mechanics. I feel like that animation could be sped up It could just have exploded into a black pile of dark magic instead of the whole explosion mechanic, and then release the black magic, then show a second animation of sucking in the black magic. Right. So we need to come over here and see if there's anything that I missed. Yeah, there's a treasure here, but still no way I know that you would be able to have gotten the treasure. Then this goes up here. And these little ghosts don't mean anything. And clearly another ability I don't have. It won't go that way. Alright. So while it might make a little bit of sense to run back to the Salvia Island, or Saliva Island, I guess is the name of it. Have I been? I think I probably have been calling it Salvia. There's a comedian, dirty jokester, YouTuber called Big Money Salvia who goes by that name. I don't know if anybody actually calls him by it. And I guess I had that in my head. Whereas Saliva Island would make a lot more sense because we had the creature, we had the big creature drooling with the ham stink. Not without incident, but I found another map. And your hat. I thought you'd be excited. I've been thinking about my men and the curse that controls them. We all sailed together under the pirate master's command. Wouldn't be surprised if the Tinkerbats were always cursed. The pirate master is clever. He'd expect me to go after my pistol and hat. That's why he brought me here, to infuse them with his evil. He's been using the weapons to lure me in. He plans to trigger the curse and put me back under his control. I can't believe I almost fell for such an obvious ruse. Is that why you won't come with me? Because you're under the same curse as your men? I'm not afraid of him. I don't know if I read that last sentence correctly. I didn't say you were. I despise him. I'd like to see him return just so I can crush him myself. I didn't mean to get you all worked up. But hey, at least we're finally talking, right? It's good to get those things off your chest. I'll wait for you on board. Yeah, references to chest, tan line map, tan line island, Spiderweb Island, Saliva Island. Man, yeah, I was wrong. So I could go back here and see if I could get everything, but I don't think I can. Also, we need like one more squid, and then we need to go buy potions. It's still gonna be a nightmare dealing with all these. Let's go up here. Yeah, there clearly needs to be some kind of upgrade to the pistol because it is just too slow. There's nothing here by the looks of it. These bats do like to hide everywhere. Alright, let's do this. So remember, this was before I had the 59 frames per second enabled, so there might be a little bit more time here. But I don't know. Let's see. 2, 3, 4. That's not gonna work. Yep. Unless this can get up to that. I have to question it. That takes its sweet time. And then we can get up to that. And then can we get up to that? No. Can we get up to this? Can we get up to this? Yes. And from that point, can we get over there? Again, that does not feel like a area where like just do 1-for-1 shots. But because they disappear and they come back up, you still are set up in a way where you can fail fairly easily. It's another meat chunk. If I can get another meat chunk, that would be nice. I have 2 and I want 3. Still very easy to just get wrecked by this game. Very, very easy to just take damage. Hey, I got another meat chunk. Is there really a reason to take out all of these? Doesn't look like it. Hopefully we can open this. Oops. Let's see, there's nothing here. Nothing here that indicates what you would want to do in this section. I suspect there is probably a probably some ability I just don't have, so that was a mistake. Alright, so best bet, use a pirate flare, get out of here.
Pirate flare activated.
And yeah, let's head back to town. Yep. It's not super surprising that we were able to get another heart, but I thought we might get lucky and be able to get everything. That door is still too hard to go. Same intro each time. Feels like they should have written a secondary list of things for her to say on the second time that would make it a little bit of a quicker experience. Alright. Store-wise, let's see. No. Have to hit the A button. I gotta pay attention if I'm gonna do this. Alright. And that leaves me with probably enough to buy a pirate flare. And if I can get 50 gold, I could then have a full inventory as far as things that you can actually get at the shop. And we know everything else, that they're just food items and the like. I don't think anything would have really changed in this area, so I don't think there's any reason to really talk to anybody else. I heard someone spreading rumors about the Pirate Master. Shudder. I must have blocked those awful days entirely from my mind. It will take 9 flesh pops to calm my nerves. Have any for me? I don't have enough flesh pops. So the meat thing now is replaced with the flesh pop thing, which we can do that. And I think this probably is just a really secondary side mission thing that will probably give us just gold, if I was to guess. We can come over here. We'll see if any of these guys drop anything of value. Lobster tails, not a bad thing. Of course, the mayor's appetites are going to be fairly high if he wants 3 meat chunks and 9 flesh pops. He probably then would want a relatively large amount of all the other food too. And he may repeat these quests asking for the maximum amount of everything. And there may be an achievement out there. There's no high platform thing in this area, but I think there might be in the next. Yeah. So we got that Heart Squid. Then we'll run this way. Alright, how is this forest going to play out now? Now that we have the floating ability. Well, actually, it's probably going to play out better because there probably are a lot of areas. Yep. I don't know how many of these Tinkerbats there are on the main island, though. So we'd have to look at the indicator. And this area is kind of repeated. We've seen these Tinkerbats in a dark forest-like area in multiple places, which I guess maybe is the idea that that they like to hide in dark forested areas, which would make sense for a bat. Rid of those first. Right. We're in the middle of the map. We might need some kind of like dash ability or something that we haven't gotten. Because doing this seems unlikely to make it. Doing that seems like it might make it, but I would have to, I think, I'd have to jump right at the edge, and I think I'd have to hit it with just the tip of my hand, or the hat. Just seems 1, 2, 3. Nope, that doesn't seem doable. So is this another situation where the jump is just so precise that it's easy to miss, or is this a situation that's different? There's this whole side of the map that is not being exposed. This is another one of those scenarios where I could end up with slightly blistered fingers. Unless I was supposed to leave the spider alone and then let the spider bounce me. That is too far away. That is just ever so slightly too far. Yeah, it feels like there's a different solution to that, so I'm not going to waste any more time around that idea. And then I don't think there's any reason to go inside the palace looking for meat popsicles, by the way. But we could also run through this whole area. There we go. That's 9 flesh pops. I don't think you can get any more. Some money wouldn't hurt either. Interesting. I just got flesh pop, but it didn't count. Well, that's gonna make the game weird. Certainly if you can get extras of things. We already went through here. Okay. That was a really long journey just to get a flesh pop. Yeah, I kind of feel like what's gonna happen is you are going to just end up having a upgraded pistol and an upgraded hat floating ability. Either that or the game is just a little mispolished in its platforming. I don't think there's anything special about the 3DS also that would kind of justify the platforming being easier on the 3DS. Like, it's not like the geometry and the physics of the world would change when it was ported to Windows, although who knows, anything is possible. Generally speaking, that wouldn't happen. Okay, in we go here. And see, in the previous game that was an achievement to have 9 of everything that you could purchase, but I bet in this game the achievement would be to have 9 of everything in the inventory completely. If I went and looked at the controls, I probably would get a spoiler for the game, come to think of it, now that we've just found out that the right trigger was the hat button. Like, we knew that, I had seen that before, but I didn't know what that meant. Thanks, have 50 gems. So 50 gems for 9 flesh pops is not a great deal. But I imagine if he always just wants 9 flesh pops and I'm just constantly getting flesh pops, then that should be fine. A fine trade-off. So Scuttletown has one more squid that we know of, and 2 more secret Tinkerbats. So, if I was to guess, we're probably going to get some kind of maneuvering, game-changing ability here, and in this one, and in the flying one, I suspect 2. And then this obviously is the final boss battle area. So it will probably behoove you, after doing this, to not do this and run around and collect as much things as you want to. Otherwise you're probably just going to get a bad ending. And if it's like in the previous game, the different endings really only are just different single images drawn of Shantae. which it's not the best system, frankly, as a reward, because clearly, if the fans are on the same page as the people animating this game and animating Shantae are, then the fans want to see every bit of art of Shantae that's available. So theoretically, you would like that artwork to potentially unlock very much earlier in the game than at the very end, or have it be a reward where it stacks. So if you beat it with 100% of all the collectibles, you get the bad ending art and the good ending art. I've never seen a game actually do that, but it probably should. It should probably roll the credits and then at the end of the credits say, would you like to see the bad ending? Or show the good ending and then ask, would you like to see the bad ending? Or say, bad ending unlocked and good ending unlocked, and then putting it in a gallery mode in the menu. According to this map, this is Tan Line Island. It's hot. Don't let the immense of heat distract you. There's a den of evil here. I kind of feel like the whole world in Shantae is fairly hot. Like, there is definitely a problem. Well, I would assume there's a logical reason as to why people in India and Persia developed such skin-revealing outfits back in the day. Although, arguably, I would also say that global warming has made the Middle East so incredibly hot now that they're wearing full body covering just to get the sun to not damage them or heat them up as much. Also, I think probably the quality and style of fabric has changed, and that has led to the full body covering of both men and women often in the Middle East. But yeah, you don't see a lot of Eskimos running around in traditional bikini outfits or belly dancer outfits. Find it and destroy it without delay. I'll go and have a look-see. Just leave everything to me. And if you feel cursed, lie back and put a damp towel on your forehead. Where does she get the energy to be so disgustingly happy all the time?
Rep to go.
Alright. Well, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.